Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on the show, and kind of a random video, but I still want to do some college football stuff during the off-season, to just have something to do, until the weekend where there's more stuff, to talk about. But I kind of want to talk about this new college football playoff format. I've kind of been advocating before it started becoming a thing, was just add more playoff teams, like from 4 teams to like 12 teams, and then they finally did it. And first year, the new college football playoff format for me, it needs work. I'll give it another year. I'll give it next season, but I think it should stay. So obviously you had Ohio State defeat Notre Dame on January 20th in the national championship game, 34-23, in the CFP, marking the ending of this season and the inaugural 12-team playoff bracket. The playoffs new format, because it expanded the previous 14 bracket. It's been a topic of much debate throughout the season, and for good reason. The criteria for making the playoffs has changed, leading many to question the system for awarding first-round buys. Would I award the first-round buys? I don't know. But despite all the talk, one thing is clear to me, like, the 12-team bracket is the optimal format to me, because under the new setup, the 5 highest-ranked conference champions earn automatic bids to the playoffs, with the top 4 of those teams receiving first-round buys. I agree with that. I think it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 seed, 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed get first-round buys. That's how I think it should go. That's the first thing I want to fix, because the rest of the non-bye teams are saying 5 through 12 based on their national ranking. Opponents of this arrangement say that it favors the weaker lower-ranked conference champions, allowing them to still qualify for the postseason ahead of others in the field. Like, for instance, this year, the Clemson Tigers, they finished at number 16 in the final rankings. But thanks to their win in the ACC Championship over SMU, critics of this playoff format might also point to the fact that none of the 5 conference champions won a game in this college football playoff as proof. But personally, I do not buy into this argument. I believe winning conference championships proves that teams are battle tested for the playoffs, and teams should be rewarded for rising to the occasion in those important moments. And additionally, 3 of these 5 playoff games featuring conference champions this year easily could have gone their way. Number 1 seed Oregon lost to Ohio State, but had beat them earlier in the season. And number 2 seed Georgia Bulldogs lost to Notre Dame. Partly because they were like Carson Beck, but I think they lose anyways. Their starting quarterback in 2 years due to injury. Arizona State nearly beat the Texas Longhorns in a double OT thriller, clearly justifying their place in the bracket despite doubters. And another benefit of this 12-team is the fans can be confident the best teams are in the playoffs, following the controversy in 2023 where some seemingly qualified teams, like the undefeated ACC champion Florida State Seminoles, were left out. With 12 teams make it every year, it is highly unlikely that a top-tier team will be left out again. I think Florida State was rightfully left out. No, they were undefeated, but they lost by like 50-something in their bowl game. They all hate complaining, just lose by 50 in their bowl game. They'd be playing back at quarterback. You want to watch that in the playoffs? Similarly, some power conferences, namely the SEC, and Big Ten, have argued for a playoff expansion, including a set number of guaranteed bids for their members. Because of the skill gap between themselves and other conferences, it's clear from both the underwhelming performances of the supposedly almighty SEC, in playoff games in this year's bowl game slate that any proposed expansion to the bracket that includes quotas for certain conferences is baseless. So despite the benefits of a 12-team format, there's still some glaring issues that need to be resolved, many of which stem from lack of consistency across the sports conferences. Because James Franklin said this in a press conference, I think, one of the many issues, he argued that all conference football teams should be in a conference, meaning Notre Dame would have to give up its chair's independent status, which I get it, but they've been independent for so long. Like, why are people just now talking about, oh, they're independent, they should be in a conference? They've been independent for like, I don't know how many years. They've been independent for a long time. So I guess that's an issue, but I don't know. Like, and they would have to give up its cherished independent status, and the team should play the same number of conference games. I guess that's a fix to strengthen the validity, or however the fuck you say that word, of the rankings, and step toward making sure all teams have that equal playing field. Another issue kind of needs to be addressed to me is the egregious concurrence of the winter transfer portal. Some of the first playoff games to me. This overlap means that players on playoff teams who are looking to transfer have to choose between preparing for this important game, for example, a playoff game, or searching for better career backup, or for better career opportunities elsewhere. For example, Penn State backup quarterback Beau Pribula. He was utilized in the team's offense in various situations. He left the team seeking a transfer before their first round matchup. This is a simple fix that the committee can fix by changing the transfer window time frame to after the playoffs, so there's no reason this should still be a problem next year. We should not be having this problem. Just have the transfers after the season's over. I mean, that's a pretty easy fix to me. That's my first fix. Second one I would make. I would like to see the quarterfinal games being home games for the conference champions receiving first round byes. Currently, the quarterfinal and semifinal games are played at neutral sites because they're both the traditional New Year's 6 games and playoff games. It is possible that as a newer college football, if you're a newer college football fan, you probably don't appreciate the history of these games as much as some diehard college football fans. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a diehard, but I'm not new. Kind of in the middle. But however, using this year's Fiesta Bowl game as an example, why could they have just played it at Boise State instead of in Arizona? Like, giving some non-powerhouse schools like Boise State the exciting opportunity to host a playoff game as a reward for winning their conference far outweighs the need to have these games at traditional locations, man. Just play them at home or away. It's like the NFL playoffs. They play it at home or away. Like, the only way you should play the championship game is a neutral site. It's another thing I would choose with these quarterfinal games, and just the playoffs in general, have them home or away instead of traditional sites. Because I don't know, it would get the crowd more excited, and college football fans more excited, to me. That's maybe a second change. The college football playoff still needs work to ensure it remains fair for all teams and conferences. This first year there was quite a bit of blowouts in this 12 team. There's been blowouts. College football's not for parity. If you want to watch for parity, go watch the NFL. I do. But it needs work to increase the excitement surrounding these games, especially regarding the non-regulars that now have clear paths to make the postseason. It is impossible to create a system in which no team feels like they got snubbed. However, this current iteration of the bracket ensures all the best teams get the opportunity to compete and appropriately rewards conference champions. Offering more entertainment for fans. As far as this current 12-team format goes, college football is on the brink of finding the sweet spot for the ideal playoff bracket. It needs work, though. But there were some other lessons I took, like the on-campus playoff games were awesome. The crowds and things, you can't write a team off even if they lose 1 or 2 games. Rivalry games I feel like don't matter as much anymore, though. That's another point. Like, rivalry games don't matter as much right now. The conference championships are kind of useless. We got to figure out a way to make these conference championship games mean more. I don't know. I just feel like you got to make these games matter. They need to fix the seeding. Another issue I want to mention is the seeding. The most glaring problem with the new format is the seeding. It's like, I mean, Oregon drew the 8th seed. That was really the 6th best team in the quarterfinal round. Or, excuse me, they played Ohio State, who was arguably the best team on talent. Like, I don't think the number 1 seed should have to play the arguably the best team who won the championship. By the way. It needs to be balanced, and you gotta fix that, man. Like, I don't know if Boise State should have first round byes. They need to fix some of these, like the seeding issues. And they had the championship game too late. Creating a champion on January 20th kind of felt too late to me. They need, I just don't know. And the SEC no longer runs college football, which that's good. That's good. But the new 12-team format is better than the old 4-team format. I think it has potential. They just need to have fixes. Some fixes is I would have the quarterfinal games on campus. Have home games. Fix the seating issue and other things I mentioned. Fix the seating. Make these conference championship games matter more. Seating, stuff like that. That's the fixes I would make, because I think this 12-team format has potential. Like, it gives teams opportunity. But we'll see what they do in the off-season. If they make any changes to it. People are like, oh, don't have the 4 highest-ranked conference champions. I would fix that, but I don't think they will. But we'll just have to see what they do in the off-season. There's some fixes, so yeah, leave a like, subscribe for more. Peace.